Hello again, my garden friends, my worm buddies. It's about an hour that I've been doing this, and excuse me, scraping off the top. And when I say I'm scraping, I mean I'm like gently moving this across to just kind of like crumbles and crumbles and crumbles. And each time you're crumbling across here and you're moving it, the worms really, like, they don't see you coming because they're blind. They have no eyes. But you can see that they will eventually find their way to safety. So I wanted to go through a few things with you. And I've gotten 3 of these big coffee. These are the extra large coffee things that are supposed to be 37 ounces. So, like 2.5 pounds. Well, that's a 2.5 pound weight that's dry. And I would say these are probably closer to 4 to 5 pounds. So I've gotten 3 of these so far out of here. And I have gotten a lot of worms. Each one of these is probably 8 ounces, and there's really not much in the way of castings on top. If I flip this over, it would look like a plate of spaghetti. Not to be gross, but it does. And so I would guess I probably have about close to maybe a pound of worms in there. And then I still have what's left here in this bin. And let me pull my little gloves over here. Put them over here for a second. I want to show you what's on the bottom. You can see those are all holes. But when you put these down, you can lay like a thin cardboard over it. Sometimes I will just take brown paper bags from the grocery store and leave them that good 2-ply, and they're a little heavier. And this breaks down, and the worms can come back and forth and filter. But sometimes there are little buggers to, like you have this guy. Now he thinks he's going to escape. Where the heck are you going to go? I mean, there's no bus in sight. The Uber driver hasn't arrived yet. But let me show you the bottom of this. Can I get that over? You can see they're all over. And I'll have to scoop them all up. I mean, there's some pretty good sized worms there. And I just usually take 3 corks, wine corks, and put them here so that the worms can just either drop down or whatever, so nobody's smashed under there. I don't want to, I'm very worried about my worms. I don't want them to be in any discomfort. So I haven't even started this bin yet, and I'm sure I will be able to get at least a couple of these containers filled with this one. This one is the partially digested, and then this one is I won't take anything from here. If I do anything, then I'll just kind of like try to move it around and then take part of it and put it into the what will be the new bin. This is going to be the guy on top. But I just wanted to talk to you about a couple things. First of all, for those of you who are doing this and you go, I can't understand why they don't eat my banana, the stem on the end of the banana. Well, if you take that stem, because it's so fibrous, and you chop it, I chop all of my stuff up, but I actually take a knife and put it in this way and then put it in the other way and kind of open it up. Otherwise, I have worms just living in there and eating it out, and then they're a bugger to get them to come out. So that was my one thing. The other thing about the banana peel is that the little, I don't know if everybody does it, but Chiquita banana, they always put the little sticker on. The worms won't eat the sticker for some reason or other. What are they thinking? And so I was fishing those out of here all the time, so I just find it's easier to take that sticker off ahead of time. You guys know that worms aren't going to eat the cellophane window in any envelope because it's it's cellophane. It's not a natural. It's not natural. One thing I did find out was I was putting in my little papers from my artificial sweetener, you know, little packets, and I thought, gee, that's paper, I'll throw that in. Well, it must be some sort of a cellophane type thing also, and because they just leave it behind. So unfortunately, I did it for a few months, and so I have been fishing these out now for a few months because they're just in here. I'll put this in the compost pile. I mean, for heaven's sakes, if you put me in the ground, I'd break down. So I'm assuming that it's just going to take a while for these guys to break down. Now, when I put in coffee grounds, I put in the coffee grounds and the filter. You see, there's the filter, and it doesn't look like it's going to break down. Well, trust me, when I dig this up, you know, whenever this goes through its cycle of being the guy in the middle, the guy on the bottom, and then the guy on the bottom gets harvested, this is all looks just like that, just like this. So coffee filters do break down, whether they are the white or whether they are the natural color. The white ones have been bleached, so if you're finicky about the whole thing, convert to the ones that are a natural color. I figure that I'm doing my best, and we do get the natural colored ones, but as far as paper, you're using paper that's had bleach in it. So I think that's probably it. I think I'm going to probably stop today. I need to rest my back. If you're an older person, like, not that I'm there yet, I'm a young 71, but somehow picking these trays up and standing here for an hour or 2 hours or whatever, and then working another hour or so to clean them up, it's getting to be a little long. So instead of doing this all at once and dragging everything back and forth, I'll split it up into 2 days, and I get my job done just as well, and I'm just as productive, only instead of making a big deal out of it and, you know, I have to make a whole day out of it or a half a day, I do it in bits and pieces, and that's kind of how I do my gardening, and that's how I do my, you know, housekeeping, and that's how I do most things that I do, is just a little at a time, and I do it until I enjoy it, until the back pain starts, and then I go, enough. So I hope you learned something. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask. I've watched other people. I'm watching Patrick over at Vermiculture, Learning by Doing, and he's very knowledgeable. And I watch Whytedavy Gardening and Worm Farm, and she's up in Saskatchewan, and she's very knowledgeable. And I just started watching a guy, his name is AJ. I'm afraid I don't remember the rest of it, but it was AJ Worm Farming, and he's very knowledgeable. So I love the fact that I don't know if I said this before, but I looked up Tumbleweed. That's the company that made this bin, and they have been in operation for 25 years. And in those 25 years, they have produced and sold from recycled plastic. These are made, and they've sold something like 950,000, blah blah blah. You know, so we're getting on to 1 million in 25 years. That's a lot of worm bins. And my friend, her name is Hannah, and she's on Instagram, and her handle is the Worm Monger, and she is a hoot. And anyway, she lives in Australia, and her whole street compost, and they bring her their scraps and she turns them into compost. And I mean, they've done tons of recycled goods. So I mean, we can all do our part. But anyway, her dad has one of these that's about 20 years old. Mine's only 11 years old, but her dad's is about 20 years old. And of course, somewhere along the way, it lost its legs. So he has it up. He has it up on something out in the barn, and so I tease her about that. But you know, mine stays kind of pristine looking because it's right in my house. It's right off my kitchen. So I want to make sure that it looks and stays clean. So anyway, I won't hold you any longer. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you enjoy my channel. And if you do, you'll maybe subscribe and ring the bell, and I can come see you again. So garden what you've got, and I hope to talk to you real soon. Bye bye.